Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shelly, and here we talk about Shelly's thoughts over 60. Yep. So please subscribe so you don't miss my goings on. Today, my thought was something really kind of different, at least for me anyway. Somebody was talking to me today about, does body count matter in this season of our lives? What I mean by that, right? When we're younger, I don't know that body count matters. I think it depends on the individual, right? I mean, to me, body count matters as much to me today as it did when I was 25, right? For me, in this season of my life, just like then, like when I was younger, I didn't want to be with someone who slept through the whole state of Florida, the whole state of Florida, right? And I certainly don't want to be with someone now who has slept through every town or who knows what, right? You know, I have a friend of mine who's a little busy. Let's just say she's busy. And, you know, she doesn't think it's a big deal. And honestly, I don't for her. I mean, to me, it's, you know, do you. Do what makes you comfortable. Do what makes you happy. I'm a firm believer in that, right? No judgment. Just do you, right? For me, though, personally, not a therapist like I tell y'all, not a doctor or anything like that, but for me, I don't want to be with someone who has hit everything in town. Now that being said, I'm not saying I'm looking for someone, you know, who's never been with anyone or been with one person his whole life. I mean, I'm not like crazy, you know. I mean, I'm in my 60s now. You know, I don't know if I met a guy who said I'm a virgin, I'd be a little worried. Be a little worried anyway. No, I'm just kidding. I do think it's a personal choice though, right? You know, I do know people that it doesn't bother them at all. And I know other people that feel some type of way about it, right? They don't want to be with someone who's been, you know, with a whole bunch of people. Now, I wonder if that matters more for men than women, right? I mean, you know, even when we're younger, it seems like, you know, men having a lot of different partners, at least in my day, like y'all, I'm showing my age. It seems to be like like worse or frowned upon for women who had a lot of sexual partners, whereas for men, not so much, right? I don't know if it holds that way now. I think in this generation now, I don't think it's a big deal, and I think as we age, it's not as big a deal. But again, I think it goes back to how we felt when we were younger, at least for me anyway. I feel the same about it now as I did in my 20s, 30s, 40s, right? You know, I don't see, you know, a big deal with someone who's been with a lot of women. I mean, I don't know. And I don't think women being with a lot of guys is especially, you know, you know, too much of a big deal is what I'm trying to say. Boy, this subject got me all blushy, right guys? No, but you know, body count, you know, I don't know, not so much. I don't think it's a big deal at this point in our lives. But you know, I was watching a podcast. I'm not going to say the podcast because like I don't know if we're supposed to do that. I'm so new to YouTube, guys. But I was watching a podcast and they were talking to these young girls, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they have OF accounts. I don't know, I guess OnlyFans or something like that. I am so old. But anyway, so it was late at night, I'm watching this show, you know, and this young girl, I think she was 19 or 20, she's like, oh yeah, you know, I've been with about 75 men. About, I am not even kidding you. I mean, I think I heard my jaw hit the table. I was like, 75 men? Like, yeah, I'm shocked. I don't know if it's a boomer thing. Listen, I don't know that that's boomer. I think that's just like a thing, you know? I'm like, girl, you're busy. You're only like 19 years old. And again, not a bad thing. You know, listen, this is for her. She's protecting herself. It's consensual. She's not a child. You know, do you? Do I want that for my daughters? You know, listen, probably not, right? But to each their own, I guess that being said. But now, interestingly, on this podcast, they were talking about how, well, the men that are doing it with these girls, right? You know, ain't nobody questioning on them, you know? So I think there's a bit of a double standard going on there. But I think as we get older, I don't think there's that big a double standard. I really don't. I think that, you know, I think that you feel about it now probably the way you did when you were younger. At least I do, right? I don't want to be with someone who's been sitting home their whole life, you know, not doing nothing. But I sure don't want to be with someone who's hit everything in the state of Florida either. So, like, gotta draw the line somewhere, right, guys? Anyway, so I don't know that body count matters as we get into the season of our lives, you know. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think. Do you think that body count matters as we get older? You know, or doesn't matter? I'm just curious. It was something that came up, and I just thought that, you know, my brain was going, it was ticking. So I was just curious what you guys thought. You know, I thought it was an interesting thought. To me, body count matters the same to me today as it did 30 years ago, right? Anyway, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.